Yeah, I hear it too. Oh, we're
Oh,
live.
it's my girlfriend.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome, everyone, to the live show for Kingdom of the Wicked by Kerri Maniscalco.
Sarah's holding one up in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
an invisible one.
Thank you all for watching. I'm really excited to discuss the book, especially because we all have certain opinions about this book, so I'm really excited to just discuss it together. I think we shall start with a little introduction. So, I mean, you know me, I'm Naomi from the Leo. And of course, we're hosting with Sabine, but we also have a guest.
Hi,
Sarah.
my name is Sarah, and I'm from the YouTube channel OrangeDinosaurRawr, and I talk about books as well. I'm Italian, that's why I'm here today.
Mhm.
To have
Yep.
like a different perspective than Leonie and I. We are both Dutch, and we have I at least have very little knowledge of like Italian culture and what could be accurate. So thank you so much, Sarah, for giving us that perspective. And also, I'm just really excited to discuss it with you.
Thank you, and thank you for inviting me over. I'm really excited to talk about Italian perspective in the book.
Nice.
Yep, that's all gonna come. So for this live show, we're gonna start out with just like a really quick non-spoilery part, and then I thought we could just like jump into the spoiler parts quickly. I think. Let me see if I can put a little order. Yeah.
Ooh, you had it prepared already. Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Very professional. Okay, so in case anyone is unaware, we are talking about Kingdom of the Wicked, which is a YA fantasy book that takes place in Sicily, in Italy, and it is about this girl. I already forgot her name.
Emilia. It's Emilia.
Well, Emilia. And she finds her sister brutally murdered, and then she strikes a deal with a prince from hell to find her sister's killer. And there are witches, and there's magic, and there's the underworld, and that's the story. So I thought, first of all, maybe we can all quickly kind of give our overall opinion and the star rating that we gave it.
Yeah.
So Sarah? Oh.
Okay. I'll start. I gave it 3 stars on Goodreads. I enjoyed it in a way because it was really addicting to read. Like you could fly through it. But in the end, thinking about the plot and the setting and everything else, I kind of felt disappointed because I expected a different kind of story and overall a better one. I'm sorry to say. I didn't feel connected to the characters, and it just wasn't for me, I guess. And I didn't really like the way Italian culture was portrayed in it. So I don't know. I wasn't mad about it. I was laughing with my friends about it, but it doesn't really speak highly of a book when you laugh about it, I guess. So in the end, I still would recommend it for somebody that wants to read a romance, a paranormal romance. But if you expect something more, maybe it's not a book for you.
I feel like that's very accurate, what you said. Indeed, if you like paranormal romance, this is the one for you. Yeah, shall I go with my opinion right now? I had the same problems as Sarah did, but I rated it lower because at a certain point, I think because I heard very mixed opinions about it beforehand, and especially from close friends of mine like Leonie and Leora, who also read the book before me, and then I was like, okay, I'm scared, but let's do this. I'm going in with positive vibes, you know? So at the beginning, I quite liked it, but then I'm not going to spoil anything, obviously, but somewhere in the middle, some more things happened, and I just felt a bit annoyed with how the character, I guess, responded or didn't respond to certain events happening, and from that moment on, it just went downhill for me. And the last 150 pages, I kind of just skim read because it didn't interest me anymore. So I think I gave it like a 1.5 to 2 out of 5 stars. Just I had a lot of critical thoughts about it. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so my opinion is very similar to your guys's. I ended up giving it 2 stars because I did really, like, from the beginning, I noticed that I loved and hated it at the same time. Like, I thought the story was super addictive. Like, I flew through this. Like, I read it super quickly, and I was actually pretty invested in the story, and I really enjoyed reading. But at the same time, there were constantly things that frustrated me about the plot and the characters, that at some point I started putting like sticky notes with like my directions to the scenes. So I'm excited to go through all those notes during the rest of the live show.
Grab my notebook because
right. Trusty notebook. Wonderful.
Yes. So it's going to be a live show full with our negative ranting opinions.
Yeah.
Really funny that we all dislike it, but I feel like people in the comments will also like it. So I guess that the viewers will give a different perspective to us as well.
Yeah, everyone in the comments, like, if you've read the book, comment if you liked it or not, just to see like how other people thought about it.
I've read a lot of mixed opinions, like people really loved it or they didn't like it at all.
Yes, I don't know what the rating is on Goodreads. I feel like it's pretty high. I'm gonna have a look right now because I'm curious. Because that's why I was like, wow, I think it's really quite bad, in my opinion. But it has such a high rating, so.
Yeah.
But I think if you go into it,
they have a new layout and it looks really cool this way. But I already see someone else who also wasn't really a fan. I can relate to this. I haven't even read it, but I'm ready to rant.
Honestly.
Oh, we do have someone who loved it. And also more people who thought it was like kind of enjoyable.
Yes.
Honestly, the book was a quick read, but I hated it.
I guess
at least it was quick.
Yeah.
Like, I think the pacing was really fast paced and like lots of things.
Yes.
You were constantly being like, steered towards a certain direction, and you were always on the go. But in the end, when I thought about what actually happened, I was nothing much really, if I think about it. But perhaps you disagree.
No, I agree completely.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those books where I can totally understand why so many people would really love it.
I do understand as well. I mean, the romance and a lot of other things are really popular with readers, some readers. So I guess if you're really into romance, a lot happens in that regard, but the basic plot, not so much.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
So I thought before we go into spoilers, there are a few things about the book that we can discuss that are non-spoilery. So the first question that I had is, in what time period did you guys imagine this book happened? Because it's never actually really said.
If I have to give it a setting based on how Italy is depicted, I wouldn't know, because nothing really said about the setting, the historical setting. I mean, it's just basic, I know, small town life, pretty much we're just living. So I don't know. I know it's set in the 1800s.
That's also how I saw it.
But it doesn't look anything like it. At least in Italian culture. I don't know. The 1800s in Italy would. What?
You said you didn't see that back, like the Italian culture from that time. I don't know if you know Italian culture from that time.
Yeah, I do, and it's not accurate. I mean, from the clothing she wears to how she goes out at night, and she's not afraid to be killed, pretty much, because no woman would go out alone, at least in Italy in the 1800s. And I don't know, anything is nothing sounds authentic to the period, so I wouldn't know if it wasn't already presented to me in the blurbs or in the descriptions that it was set in 1800s Italy. I don't know.
Same, but I did imagine it like somewhere around like late 1800s. I don't know what, but that would be my guess.
But just because
something
it looks like a basic medieval setting, pretty much.
Maybe it's also because of the cover, because it gives off like with the
and the fan arts, they make it look like it's set in that kind of time.
I know. I specifically remember there's like a scene, this is not really a spoiler, where she like describes her dress, and it's like this like sparkly or golden like corset that she wears like as the top layer, and that's always a moment that I'm like, okay, so this is like fake historical setting if the corset is on top, like that doesn't happen.
But also the kind of clothing, Italian clothing for that time period, if you were middle class, it wasn't that extravagant. You were working, so your clothes were practical, and those look nothing like the real ones.
Yeah, exactly. So I also thought that someone says, is it just me, or does the audio keep cutting out? I don't notice.
I don't know.
I don't know if anyone else has the problem.
Sometimes, so I don't know if it is my iPad or something.
Yeah, there's some crackling sometimes, but it's not.
I can hear you.
It's not disruptive.
So.
Yeah, if there's any problems with the audio, let us know in the chat, and then we will try to fix it. But I thought for the non-spoiler section, we could also kind of talk about like the setting and like that it takes place in Italy and what you thought about it, Sarah, because when I was reading it, I didn't really feel like I was in Italy, but I think we can talk about that more.
I think that the setting is pretty basic. It looks like somebody visited Italy for a few weeks once and then decided to use it as the setting for their book without doing much of a research, because there's so much history in everywhere you go in Italy, and none of it was even brushed upon in this book. You don't know anything. The only thing that makes you feel Italian, I think, for a foreigner is the food, because
that's what I was gonna say.
A huge food, I don't know, description, I think. But for an Italian, it's pretty weird because we do not think 24/7 about food. I don't know why. It's always the same stereotype, like, oh, you're Italian, so you must love food. You must think about food all the time. We do not. I guess it's okay because she has a restaurant, but it's weird. It's too much food. I know that the people like it because they're not used to our food, so it looks exotic, I guess. But it's not even accurate because she was only cooking or talking about regional foods, Sicilian foods, and that looked really stereotyped. I don't know. It looked like a tourist really just visited Sicily, loved it, and wanted to write about it. But that's it. You can tell there's nothing more than a surface level research. She didn't speak to Italians to learn more about the culture or even the setting, because Palermo is a huge city, and it's so I don't even know how to describe it. It's full of history. You have lots of things. the book is supposed to be really dark. There are catacombs under Palermo. She didn't even brush upon that. That would have been amazing in a book.
Damn.
Like really catacombs, and you can visit, and there's a lot of dark history, and none of it was in the book. And it's weird because it's supposed to be a really dark book, but none of it is in there.
Damn, that really, to me, kind of shows the amount of research that she's done. 'Cause I can imagine if you research, I'm sure it's on the Wikipedia page.
Yeah, it's pretty famous as well. Like if you search up creepy places to visit in Europe, even it comes out. They're smaller than the one in Paris, but pretty big. So I don't know. I've been there myself, and I've been to Sicily twice in my life. So if I know about it, everybody can find out through a simple Google research. I don't know. It looked to me, a missed opportunity, and that she didn't do much of a research. I wanted to talk about the Italian phrases in the book as well.
Yeah.
They're not. That's not correct Italian.
Oh my gosh. Do you have like an example? Or can we, like,
I mean, when she talks about the luccicare, luccicare is to shine, so it's a verb. While she uses it like she's talking about an aura, like a shine. So in Italian, the correct word would have been luccichio. It's similar, but it's different.
Yeah.
The Star Witches, she translated it to stelle streghe, while it would have been streghe delle stelle.
That's
it's
some Google Translate stuff.
That's what pretty obvious to me while reading it, because I was happy to see she at least tried. But she didn't try enough, I guess.
Yeah, if it would go through like the whole publication, like I don't know, I don't have an understanding of how that all goes. But
I don't understand.
I feel like someone would control for if it's like grammatically correct or not. If you would incorporate that in a book.
Because it wasn't even that much phrases, so she could have asked any Italian to read a few sentences.
Yeah, that's not okay. That's not okay.
It's fine. I don't know. Maybe it's me because I'm Italian. I noticed those small things.
I would be annoyed as well. It's like, be Dutch in a book, then they would phrase it incorrectly. I'd be like,
it was funny to us. A lot of us Italian read it in the same period, like through November, and we talked about it together, and we were laughing so much about those things because I don't know, it was comedic to us.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I guess if you're writing a book that's specifically supposed to take place in Italy, like, then write it in a way that can also be enjoyed by Italians and not just by people who want to read about Italy. Like, it kind of reminds me of, like, for example, the Six of Crows duology. That one is clearly inspired by Amsterdam, but it's not Amsterdam. So there's a lot of Dutch words in it that are also not correctly Dutch, but it's okay because it's not supposed to actually be Amsterdam. But this is really supposed to be Sicily, so then you know, you got to do a little bit more extra work there.
Yeah.
Okay, I saw a bunch of comments. Let's see. I saw someone say something funny, but it's all back. All the way back now.
I talk too much. I'm sorry.
No. Thank you for sharing this. Like, this was really insightful, and I think this is good to know, like, what it's actually like for an Italian person.
Because the book was picked up to be translated in Italian as well, so I'm curious to see if they're gonna correct the words. Like, I don't know if they're gonna call the luccicare luccichio, or if they're gonna go with the wrong word because she decided to use that. So we'll see.
If you have the if you know about the Italian.
Yeah. Someone says Italian version of Emily in Paris.
Pretty much, yes.
Yeah. That's such a good one.
I haven't seen the show, but I can't imagine.
It's kind of like that. Oh, we have someone from Sicily watching. That's really fun.
Ciao, Giorgia. I'm gonna just say hi to the Italian follower.
Nice. Someone asked, do you have a booktube channel? Yes.
Yeah, I do, but I speak Italian on it, and it's called OrangeDinosaurRawr. I know it's cringy. I was 15, so it was way back.
Yeah. Oh, but you do have a bookstagram also, right?
Yes, as well. It's the same name.
Okay. Yeah, I have, by the way, in the description there are links to everything. So if anyone wants to check out Sarah, you can go to the description.
It is dedication that you kept the name after.
Yes, I did.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I was like, yes, for the hardcore fans that were here since the beginning, we're gonna stick with the cringy name.
Yes. Okay. I think that's all we have to discuss for the non-spoilery part. I think we can just hop into the story and the plot and all the details. So if you haven't read the book, I mean, maybe if you haven't read the book but you don't plan on reading it and you just want to hear us rant about it, you can stick around. But if you don't want to hear spoilers, then this is the moment to leave. Other banner? Yeah.
This is so cool.
I'm a professional.
Yes, you are.
All right. Where shall we begin? I made some notes.
So many things.
Does everyone want to share their favorite Prince of Hell?
Oh,
Oh boy. I was like, if I remember correctly, we don't even get to see all of them.
No, I remember 3 of them. Maybe 4?
Such a shame. Oh, it does have like a beautiful artwork though. So pretty.
Yeah.
And Leonie and I have the Fairy Loot edition, so it is.
Oh my god, that's so beautiful.
It is so
It
pretty.
almost makes me want it. But not
almost.
Yes.
Exactly.
I don't know if I have a favorite Prince of Hell. Prince of Hell, Demon Prince, because I thought they all were kind of dumb.
Yes, they were.
That is, I think, one of the things that I was annoyed by. Most of all, first of all, I don't know what, but especially, oh my god, I've forgotten everything about this book, Wrath, because like all these demon princes, I think I said this before to Lainey, they are supposed to be these ancient creatures of hell, and in my mind, that would translate to lots of experience, lots of life experience, would be super smart, but our main character keeps on tricking them, giving away all the information and doing all the things that she needs, and then they're like, I won't be, but I will be. So I didn't really like any of them.
Me neither. I guess if I have to pick one, maybe Rathman, just because we spend more time with him and he looks good, supposedly. So maybe that's why. But I don't know enough about any of them right now to choose, because they're pretty bland. The personalities, they're based on the deadly scenes, and that's fine. But in the end, there's nothing more than that to it. Like Envy and Lust, they're not really characterized enough for me to love them or hate them. I just was mad about them all.
Yeah, I kind of had the same thing. I was like hoping to see more about, like, that's like the thing. If you have these characters whose main trait is like a crucial flaw, I would expect like more interesting personality from that. Like, especially I expected a lot from Envy. I was like, oh, there's going to be like this big plot between him and the devil, jealousy and envy, you know, and then it just wasn't used. And I was like, oh, okay. Missed opportunity. Yeah.
They're supposed to be so bad, but you actually, they look like puppies to me. Like, there's nothing that evil about them. Like Rod didn't do anything mean to Emilia. She was like, oh, he's so bad. I hate him. He saved your life more than once.
Yeah, it was messed up. Like more telling that someone was a certain thing, but not really. Yes, he is.
Yes, I agree.
That's definitely the one. I thought maybe we could just like go through the story. So I just opened my book and I found my first sticky note that I wrote down. I don't know what this refers to, but it just says, this is in Dutch. This is so stupid. What the fuck? I don't know what this is though.
It was at the beginning.
Yeah. In the beginning, you can even tell who the murderer is supposed to be. Like, you find out pretty soon. Like, I mean, they don't tell you who it is, but you can guess it pretty soon. At least I do. I don't know.
I didn't guess it, actually.
No.
But I'm not good at those things, so.
I'm not that good either, but to me, it was obvious. Like, it could only be one person.
Oh wait, I was gonna say I don't even remember anymore, but it's the guy, the how'd you call that? The guy that walked with the sister?
I don't remember the word in English. Il frate. In Italian, it's il frate.
Okay, is it? Oh no. It's funny because I keep with my notebook. I write down like the people who are featured in it, and one that I found on this page is Giovanni, old man who smells like granita. that's what was said in the book. And I wrote,
what?
I can't hear it.
I said smell. He sells it, not smell. Oh my god! But I'm trying to find the name of that boy. Is it Domenico?
I don't remember. Maybe. I remember he's a priest.
Yeah. I think he was. Good discussion, good preparation, Sabine.
But I don't remember as well because he was in a small percentage of the book, so I didn't even get invested in him.
Yeah, I think what bothered me about it is that, like, at the end. Okay, so we're just jumping to the end right now. At the end, we are told that it is him, and then he has this like monologue where he like explains his motives and why he did it, and that always really annoys me when that happens in a book, when there is apparently this whole motive for this character to do this thing, and we didn't know this as a reader, so it just comes out of nowhere. There's no way this was foreshadowed or built up towards. You're just kind of given it. Oh, by the way, there was this whole thing. That's why he did it. And I'm like, okay, thanks, I guess.
It's kind of info dumpy. Like, I have to explain because I didn't show you in the book anything that will make you suspect that or even hint about it. So, I don't know. I don't like it either. It looks like it's a badly written murder mystery because you're supposed to know in the end why it happened, but no.
Exactly. Also, by the way, the links are in the description. Everything. So the next thing I wrote down. So basically, our main character Emilia, she finds out that Vittoria is murdered, and she's like, I'm gonna use magic from this like grimoire to summon a demon, which is already like, I was like, okay, you're just doing that. Okay.
Dedication.
Yeah, and then she like summons him in this ring, and it's like really dangerous. Like she summoned like the most dangerous demon of all, and it cost like it was a lot of risk, but she did it all for like her sister. And then he says something mean, and she immediately like breaks through the circle to attack him. And I was like, first of all, what did you expect? You literally summoned a demon from hell. And second of all, why are you trying to kill him if you summoned him because he's the only one that can help you? Like what are you doing?
I know. I mean, he's supposed to be so powerful that you want to throw punches. Like, I don't think you're gonna get him.
Nope. I mean, he also it wasn't successful. I think her
Yeah,
attack.
it was.
But that's when I was like, okay, she's that kind of main character. Okay.
Maybe that was your
Again, I'm
comment
really
that
sorry
said,
to
like,
anyone
this
who's
was
watching that really did like the book.
Yeah.
Again, I understand. I understand. It was super addicting.
It was funny to me though that she left him in the circle for a lot of days. Like you were
Yeah.
meant to find your sister's murder and just leave the demon in the circle. Like why summon him in the first place if you're gonna just leave him there?
Mm-hmm.
That was so weird to me.
Yep. Does anyone
Didn't
have a
make any
least
sense.
favorite character? I think mine would
All of
be
them.
Amelia, because the other characters aren't really, like, they remain pretty shallow. So
Yeah.
we know the most about Amelia, and she's also the most annoying. At
Yeah,
least
I
in my
guess so.
opinion, I found her to be kind of annoying. So
I don't know if I remember correctly, but they didn't even tell the father name, like Emilia's father name. I don't think they even said his name.
Ooh,
That's
good.
how many characters are really well developed in the story, like two, Rod and Emilia. Not even Victoria, because she's used as a comparison for Emilia, like, oh, Victoria is so outgoing, I'm not. That's pretty much everything you notice about her. So
yeah,
I wish
I guess
that
Emilia for me too, because she's the only one really.
yeah, so I would say the same, but I think on a different note, I wish the grandma was worked out more because I
Yeah.
felt like she was the only wise person and she kept on telling Amelia all these things like don't do it, don't do this, don't do that.
Don't trust the wicked. The first
Yes.
thing she goes and summons one of them.
So
yeah,
It was interesting. The grandma was really interesting, but I think she was a little bit maybe too mysterious. Like, you know everything about witchcraft, just tell Eunice something. You know she's up to no good.
yeah.
You notice she's be sneaking out. Just tell her something at least. I don't know. It's weird because the magic relied a lot on the grandma figure because without her, nothing about magic was even introduced in the book. But she, in the other end, didn't even explain anything to them. So we know a bunch of charms, potions, and that's it. I
Yeah.
don't know. It was weird because the magic system had so much potential. Italian cultures heavily relies on superstition. There's a lot of folklore about witches. So she could have done a lot with that.
yeah.
And she didn't. That's
She only
so,
talked
I
about
don't know.
like which color candles or something should be with a certain
Yeah.
spell. That's what I remember.
Oh
That's
yeah.
weird. Even the cornicelli looks so weird to me because everybody in Italy has one. Like it's a good luck charm. You're given them usually when you're born. So everybody has one and they're so exclusive. Like the two sisters have them, only them. They're so rare. I'm like, no. Why?
I have
Yeah.
one too.
I think that goes nicely with this other question. Oh, first, thank you for the donation, book close up. Thank you so
Wait,
much.
did someone give a donation? Can you
Yeah.
What is that?
Thank you.
Huh?
Cool.
We appreciate that. But someone asked, what about the world building? Did you find it coherent? Because I personally was very confused by the world building, and I didn't really know if that was just
Oh, I'm
because
sorry.
badly
I
written.
cannot hear you.
And can you hear me again?
I can hear you.
Oh, yes,
I
now
don't
I
know
do.
if Sarah...
I'm sorry. The
Yeah,
screen
okay.
froze for a second.
Yeah, so I was kind of confused by the world building because so we have I don't really remember a lot anymore, but we have these witches and then we have like hell and it was like closed off, but there was like a leak in the gate so these monsters
Yes, a
started
leak.
coming through. But I didn't understand why were these princes of hell just
Don't.
in the world. Like why were they even there in the first place? Like what was their reason to be there?
No clue.
I don't know. And I guess no one
Oh, I
knows.
think my connection is bad. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Oh,
That's okay.
So I didn't hear the question, but it's fine.
Like Leonie was really confused about like why the demon princes were there in the first place.
Oh, I think because of the Cornicellis, because when they're
Right.
fused together, they
My
open
notebook.
hell.
I am back again as well. My Wi-Fi also decided to stop. But I wrote down that they will return to Sicily to find something that was stolen from the devil. That's why they were there in the first place. That's what it says.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I think they also indeed need the thing. Here someone says, the grandma should have told Amelia the truth from the start, but I think the author had no idea how to write the story where the plot was not led forward because of misinformation and miscommunication.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always kind of sad when a book has to rely on that.
Yeah. True.
It was a waste to introduce that amazing map of hell and then not show it at all, even if it's supposed to be the second of the second book. Yeah, I was expecting us to go to hell, but we didn't, and that's really a shame.
Or at least hear a little bit more about it. Like nothing gets told about hell. You just get told it's there and the devil wants to come for it.
Yep.
That's
so,
it.
What did you guys think about the romance? Because one of my big gripes about this book is that it's supposed to be like an enemies to lovers, and I'm like a huge fan of enemies to lovers, so I was really expecting to also like the dynamic between Wrath and Amelia, but I didn't feel it because we were constantly told they're enemies. Oh, he's my enemy. I hate him. He's like the worst person. To the point that I'm like, no one would actually usually refer to someone as their enemy unless the author is like, yeah, enemies to lovers. Right?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he didn't even do anything wrong to her, so it's more a thing like, oh, my grandma says you're evil because you're one of the wicked, so you must be my enemy. But I don't know, I like enemy to lovers when they show you when they're enemies as well, like interactions or something of the like. While here it's just, oh my God, you're my enemy, I hate you. You didn't do anything wrong to me, but I must hate you until the end of times. I'm like, no, he didn't. He was actually nice to her.
Exactly.
I guess.
And
so the romance
they're kind of just
is nice if you like that kind of book.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I just cut out for a bit. Yeah. That's always gonna happen. Is there anything more? I have all these like sticky notes, and I'm just like, what was I referring to? What is this?
Okay, I couldn't hear.
It's been a long time for me.
My wife.
Oh, you're cutting out, Sabine.
Okay. I'm back right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I
yes, I can hear you.
You said for the last 2 minutes because yes, I was cut off by my Wi-Fi.
Okay, I didn't say anything.
We were just jumping into the next spoilery thing.
Okay.
So what I wrote down was about. Oh, is everything okay?
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sorry if I fall out again.
That's okay.
It's really bad.
I think I'm also falling sometimes. That's just the nature of these kind of live shows. Is it really a live show if there's not someone constantly cutting out, right? So, like, regarding the fact that these princes of hell are just like chilling with the humans, the whole point is that they're like really like people fear them. You know, they're like these big like. There's a lot of superstition around them. People are afraid of them, and I was just like, how does nobody notice that they're there? Like, greed is literally in a casino, like the most obvious place to be, right? And also like Amelia could find all of them like immediately. So doesn't anyone who's like, I think these princes of hell might be on Earth. Let me find them. Anyone could find them. They were so easy to find. That was just weird.
Yeah, the grandma in the start of the book says that the weekend haven't been on hurt for a long time, and then all of a sudden, all of them just wants to find Amelia.
Yep. Okay, so there was one thing at one point, like this big mystery throughout the story is like what is going on with these amulets, right? So there are like two, one for Victoria and one for Amelia, and they weren't supposed to ever touch them or like be together with them. And then we learned this backstory about how if you like they're both like parts of like something that could open the gates to hell, which is
I guess it was called the Horn of Hades.
Yes, that's the one. Like the Horn of Hades. So if you put them together, you get the Horn of Hades.
I don't even get it. Like, why Hades? Italy was really Christian. Like, how is it supposed to be the Horn of the Devil? I don't know why Hades.
Indeed. That doesn't make any sense. I didn't even notice that. That's correct. But I was like, if you're the grandma and you know that you have these two amulets that if put together, they could literally open the gates to hell, why would you give them to twins?
And children.
And just be like,
and
don't
children.
let them get together.
They're like so young. And the thing they said is, yeah, you're not supposed to let them touch ever. They're children. Of course they're gonna try.
Why would you give something that could literally open the gates to hell to like children? Why not just give one to like a witch friend on the other side of Europe or something? I don't know. Like it just felt super convenient.
I was gonna
and
say,
nothing was like
tell them about it. Tell the story, because then they don't know the story. Like perhaps if you tell them like disaster will come upon the world if you let them both touch, maybe they'd be like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do that.
Yeah, there were just a lot of things in the book that I felt just
they don't tell them anything
to make the story more interesting, but not because they would make sense in real life.
Yeah,
true, very true. Agreed.
I agree.
Okay.
There was even a werewolf subplot, I think, throughout the book.
Yes.
I'm just now remember.
Yes.
There were werewolves.
Oh, yeah.
Like, why? They didn't even make sense in the story. Just
maybe those were the creatures that escaped from hell, then perhaps. I don't know. Maybe not.
I don't remember. I don't remember, I'm honest.
I think my main issue from the moment I started to how'd you call that, like the book less, was when Amelia's grandmother was attacked by a lesser demon, I feel like it was.
Yeah.
And it was just like so big and so traumatic, but our main character Amelia immediately went on again with searching for the murderer of her sister instead of being like, okay, whoa, what just happened? I feel like it was a very quick description.
Slow down. Yeah.
And then besides that, it was just like, oh, okay, well, my grandma got like her throat got cut or something, and I held like a whole towel on my grandmother's throat to keep her from dying. And then she, in the next chapter, was just like, I'm gonna go solve the murder again. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
The story was told, and then I was like,
yes.
Yeah, exactly. The same thing with like the death of her sister.
Even all
I also felt like that was just.
Yes.
We didn't really see her.
It's supposed to be a serial killer because there were all the other were killed as well. So you're not even slightly worried about a serial killer on the loose, all the witches being killed. She's like going out at night, not worried about anything, trying, I don't even know to do what at this point, because she's not making progress in finding out who killed her sister. She at one point tried to get her amulet back, but I don't know. She was going on and off through the city for no reason at some point, and I was like, girl, there's somebody killing people. Just no, stay put.
Here, someone says, wasn't there a part in the book where Nana mentioned that the only one who would be able to wear them were the witch twins in their lines? Maybe that was it. Then I must have just missed that part, because then that would make sense.
I don't remember.
But then still, I would be like, just tell the children that what would happen if they let the amulets touch.
Or maybe send one away. I mean, why keep two halves of something that together will bring the doom of Earth just together in close proximity? Because the sisters were always together. I mean, how hard is it to get necklaces? Like, I don't know, it looked too easy for me. Just, oh, how convenient, they're both here. Just scatter them around, one here and one in Russia. I don't know, send one away.
Yeah, just not in the same house, not in the same room.
Yeah.
Yep. Another thing that I thought would be fun to talk about is, so this book kind of seems to like present itself as kind of a feminist story, as in the main character is kind of supposed to be like this more feminist, kind of empowered girl, which I usually like, but I often am very easily annoyed with it in a way that it's presented in these like historical books. Like there's this specific moment where she's talking about some tradition about like women and like defending daughter's honor, and she says, defending a daughter's honor was an age-old male pastime. Enticated human behavior aside, I couldn't believe blah blah blah. And I was like, what do you mean enticated human behavior? Like, this is normal for your time. Like,
weird. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
If anyone else like when these kind of characters have these ideas
tried so
that are
hard to be
very modern.
In a time where
I think I cut out for a second. Sorry. What were you saying?
No, what? I was cutting into you.
Oh, I thought I think the connection was like failing a little bit. Yeah. But whenever these things happen, to me, it kind of feels like a very easy way to bring feminism into books by just looking at it from like a super modern perspective and then just projecting that onto your main character, even if it doesn't make sense for the main character to think that way, instead of like actually doing the work to like create like a feminist story that would make sense for that time.
Yes. I agree, because back then women were kind of they were forced to think that way, so they wouldn't even know better. Like that was the reality. So I guess it's true you can have feminist thoughts even back then, but they would have been taken step by step, not all at once. It looked like a big giant step without any building up to it. Like, why?
I wish all women were like that back then, but the chance of it being very small.
Yeah, exactly. Anything else?
Maybe the romance, because that's such a big part of the plot.
Yeah. What did you guys think?
Well, overall, I felt like the book read a little on the younger side of YA.
Yes.
But the romance did not. Not that like younger people cannot have these thoughts or like wants and needs, but I felt like it mismatched the tone a little bit of the narrator, if I can say it like that. But I did feel the tension, but because it's supposed to be enemies to lovers and nothing bad happens, but people are repeating that she hates him, and you know, like, I don't know. I wish it was worked out a bit better. Yes. But I mean, it was for me at one point a little bit the driving point of the story, and
yes, I agree completely. Like in the end, I kept reading because of the romance, as silly as it sounds, because it wasn't well done for me, but it was entertaining enough for me to keep reading. Like I was interested, at least. So I wanted to know, and I don't know, it was kind of cringy, but I liked it, so I wanted to go on. In the end, I liked the plot twist about the romance and the betrayal. if I remember correctly.
Great. Yeah,
I
what was
very
that again?
confused about that point.
Like, in the end, he kept saying, no, I'm not working against you, but apparently he was working with the devil to let Emilia marry him and open the gates of hell. So in the end, Emilia is going to go down to hell to marry the devil, and the romance is off. Like, oh no, I was cheating you into it.
Yeah, exactly. Indeed. I kind of had the same experience that I kept reading because of the romance, because I did also really feel like the tension between them, even though it wasn't well written. Like, it still really made me want to continue reading. And then exactly during that plot twist, I don't know. I kind of saw it coming, but I also didn't. I was just kind of confused about Emilia's reaction to it, because she was just like super surprised. Whereas I was like, you spent the entire book saying how evil he was. Why are you now surprised?
You couldn't not trust him in the slightest, and in the end, he looked surprised. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna be honest. If I had the second book right away when I finished the first one, I would have started it because of the ending. I don't know. I'm a sucker for those kind of endings. So I think I would have kept going just for the romance. Skim reading maybe, but I would have kept going.
Yeah, for me it was no.
Too much.
No, I was just so kind of, I guess, annoyed by Emilia's narrative, and just the plot didn't really speak to me, and I was just like skimming through it also until the end. I was just like, just only reading kind of the conversations that were happening between the characters, because I didn't really care about it anymore. So even that like twist was had me like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
Someone said the book felt like fan fiction. There's no reason for a million-year-old demon to be interested in some teenage girl he has nothing in common with. Yeah, that was also a thing. Like, I just didn't believe their like romance other than just like pure attraction based, but they kind of tried to make it like more romantic. And I was like, I don't really see that happening.
No, same.
Yeah, I agree. He's supposed to be immortal, so I guess he had plenty of occasions to find mortal to love, and he chooses Emilia after speaking to her maybe 2 times, and she's not the brightest. So why?
I have a sticky note that says, "The demon prince from hell betrayed you." Shocked Pikachu face.
True, very much true. Like,
okay,
oh
that's
my
wrong.
god, they're actually evil.
Oh, for the first time in the book, actually.
Yes.
Yep.
Very true.
Oh, we're talking about Kingdom of the Wicked.
I was also, by the way, on a completely different note, because of this beautiful map that you have in here, I was like, oh my god, we're gonna visit all these cool houses and
No.
see forts or something might be like, but like no, it's just a pretty map and that's it. Like we could go without one, but
Maybe in the next book they're gonna
I think
explore a little bit more of it. And there he goes, the Italian setting goes away.
Yeah.
The one that wasn't really present already. True.
So sad. Do you have any more notes, Sabine?
I'm trying to look if I have some things that I like.
That's useless. Like I don't even have the book.
That's totally fine. No, I just, especially like, yeah, about the Italian culture. Like, of course, I was like, I cannot really like necessarily depict from one description or something that it really takes place in Italy. Besides the food, which did, confession, make me feel really hungry. So I wrote down like a couple of things that I would really like to try. Like they had a dish with sweetened ricotta.
Yes, the cannoli siciliani. It's a pastry. Like we use sweet ricotta in a lot of dishes, desserts. We use it a lot, and the cannoli are really good. and they're actually Sicilian, so you can eat them there.
Yes.
They fill them on the spot, so you don't buy them already made. You go up to the vendor and they fill it up in front of
Is
you.
the
So
pastry
it's
like
fresh.
crispy and crunchy? And then if you,
I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, okay.
You've never seen a canola, a simple one? I guess they're all Italian. I'm used to it, so I'm like, it's crunchy. It's not soft. It's a crunchy texture, like a ice cream cone kind of texture. So if you fill them beforehand, they're gonna get soggy.
Yeah. No,
So they stay cool. Yeah. And they put pistachios on those on the end. Those are really good.
Pictures of them with like chocolate also on the inside, and then like filling. And I've never had sweet ricotta cheese, but I feel like it would be really nice because
those are really good.
Quite like a neutral taste, right?
Yes, it's more on the sweet side because they add sugar. They mix the ricotta with sugar, but it's really good. We have a lot of things with the ricotta. If you go to Naples, you have to try the sfogliatelle. They're even better. They're cooked, like they're more crispy, and the ricotta is cooked inside. So I can recommend a lot of Italian dishes. Really.
Nice. I think that like here in the Netherlands, like Italian food is like the most common restaurant food, but I can imagine like it's very Dutchified, so to say.
I don't know, never been, so I don't know.
No, I cannot really like. I've never had. Is it cannelloni? Do you say it like that, or is that the pasta?
It's cannoli. Cannelloni. Yeah, because the cannelloni are a savory dish.
Yes, I was thinking like the names are very similar for me.
Yes, I know.
Yes, because I've had cannelloni, but I've never had cannoli, the sweet cookie filled thing. So I did write some of those things down because I was like, oh, maybe I should like try and make it myself.
Those are hard. You picked a hard one.
Maybe a step lower. Maybe just try something a little less.
Yeah. But the food, she actually describes it really well. Like the dishes she tells you about, they're true Italian dishes. That was really good. But the thing that annoyed me, Emilia was always talking about food, 24/7. Like she was thinking about what to mix with oil, how it's gonna taste, and that's okay. I guess she has a restaurant, but it looked like the stereotype of Italian being obsessed with food. We don't really do that. I don't know. It looks weird to me because for us, we're grown up with the cuisine, so for us it's normal. We don't think about it. For us, it's nothing special. We love it, but it's just food for us.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. But the dishes are true Italian dishes, like the pesto alla trapanese she talks about a lot. She talks about cannoli. She talks about pastiera, I think. It's a cake. The cake she gets from the grandma at her birthday. True, it's true. Like we eat.
I think I looked that one up. Is it with like dried fruits? I'm not too sure.
Yes. Okay. Candied fruit.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. And the marzipan. In Sicily, they eat a lot of marzipan.
Yeah. Ooh, love that.
I love that.
It's making me hungry. My dad actually made tiramisu today. So I'm going to eat that after this live show.
You have it here with you right now? Oh my god, I'm so jealous. Like, that's my favorite dessert. I love it so much, especially with a little bit of like amaretto.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. I love that so much. I have to also be really blunt by saying that we have an evening curfew here in the Netherlands, and it starts in like 30 minutes, and I need to go to my boyfriend, so I can't stay on for two
fine.
So I'm very sorry for just being saying that.
Okay, that's good to know. I think we also discussed, everything we want to discuss.
Yeah,
if anyone still has something to bring on, no? Okay.
There was a question about when are you going to choose the next book?
So I think that's a nice segue into talking about that, because Sabine and I are going to make like a little bit of a change in the structure of the book.
Noticed.
as you probably have noticed, the Kingdom of the Wicked was not 2 months, but it ended up being 5 months, maybe.
Yeah.
The thing is that we're both kind of busy with like university in like a very, you say that, like
I was very busy.
unexpected ways.
Yeah,
like
especially
we both just kind of like working out our university lives.
Yeah.
So we do really want to continue the book club, but we don't want to stick to like the 1 book per 2 months schedule. So from now on,
like, rushed, and we just want to choose and have a nice guest and be able to really discuss it well. And I guess that we just want to have it more as like a buddy read. Like Leonie and I will kind of like discuss what we want to read, and then we'll just let you know and be like, we'll be reading this for X amount of months, maybe. But that's like a very we're not too sure about it yet.
Yeah. So it's not going to be like, oh, every 2 months there's a new book that we're going to choose, and then there's going to be a live show. It's just going to be like once in a while we will announce on the Twitter, hey, here's a book that we want to read that will, of course, will take place in a non-American or English setting, and then we'll just share that, and then we'll have a longer time to read it, so more of you guys have the chance to read it, and then there will be a live show at the end. So it's just going to be a little bit more flexible, just not every 2 months. So I hope you can all understand that. Yeah.
So we don't have a book for right now, but Leonie and I are going to FaceTime pretty soon, and then like we'll discuss some options, and we'll let you know on Twitter then indeed what it will be.
Mm-hmm. Next book club is your theses.
Oh my god! We should do that.
Yes, because we both just finished our theses. So.
Yes, that was so funny though.
Yeah. All right. So that is everything we want to say. Follow us on the Twitter at the World Readers BC, World Readers Book Club, if you want any updates on the next book and when that's going to be. And then for now, I want to thank you all for watching and sticking around while we talked about this book, even though we didn't really enjoy it. And hopefully we will see you soon on like any of our channels. Again, links are in the description. And thank you guys for watching.
Yes.
Bye. Bye.